Welcome to the Big Fucking Feelings podcast with Jenna and Ashley, where minor mishaps spark major meltdowns. Perfection is a moving target, and spiraling is, basically a sport. If you've ever lost sleep over a crooked picture frame or felt personally victimized by a messy kitchen, you are in the right place. Today, we're talking about pizza crusts, the pursuit of impossible perfection, and why color coordinating your closet is both a coping mechanism and an art form. So grab a slice, maybe a label maker, I don't know, and let's dive in.
I'm so excited about talking about pizza.
I'm excited about eating pizza. Does that count?
It does.
Okay, well, first we have to get this out of the way. Are you a fold it or eat it straight? I'm so afraid to ask this question because I'm very worried that this is going to affect our friendship.
Well, I'm actually both. It just depends on what style of pizza. Because I'm from Ohio, we have an Ohio square cut pizza that's like
You do?
little. Yeah, they're little, and you can't fold that. It's like it's a square.
Yeah, no, that's that would look like origami. You'd be like,
Yeah, but if I'm in New York, yeah, you fold it and you.
of course you fold it. And my East Coast roots are severely surfacing with the whole pizza conversation because I have to if it's a slice of pizza, you've got to fold a slice. Dear God, please fold the slice of pizza. Now, that is not to say that if I have an incredibly super duper hot piece of pizza and I'm starving, I might reluctantly admit that I take a knife and a fork to it for the first couple of bites just because I can't wait. Priorities. But yeah, you gotta fold the slice. You gotta fold.
My stepfather, he used to knife and fork it no matter what.
No. The crust.
The man did not want dirty hands. He was like, no, thank you.
I always wonder if people like that, did they finger paint in preschool or were they the ones sitting in the corner sucking their thumb no, don't bring that anywhere near me.
I seriously thought that was going to go a totally different direction.
Oh God. Right. Okay. Yeah. We'll just leave it at what I said. Yeah. Okay. And then my next question, also, I think equally important. What kind of crust?
Such a hard question because I have deep respect for all types of crusts, but there was, man, I don't know, Jenna. This is a hard question. Can you please answer it?
Yeah.
And then I'll jump on your coattails.
I can mildly answer it. So I actually think what kind of crust you love says a lot about your personality.
Dear.
Which
multiple personalities here.
No, but it was kind of perfection because what you said was that you have a deep respect for all crusts. And I feel like one of the reasons that I love you and we're such good friends is that you have a deep respect for all people as well. And so really that kind of fits perfectly.
Whoa, that's deep dish right there.
Chicago deep dish or Detroit deep dish? Don't they both have deep dish? Aren't they both deep dish?
I think you're correct.
I get very confused about the placement of what style of pizza comes for example,
the regional pizza.
Right, regional pizzas. It's when you go somewhere and there's you're learning Pidgin German versus, classic German. There's Pigeon pizza. I don't know. That's, I don't know. I think the crust thing, I also am I have multiple personality crust disorder because I love it. It depends on where I get it from. So if I'm in New York, I'm not trying to have a thin crust pizza. Don't give me a thin crust pizza. I want it to be able, the slice to fold. But if we're doing Domino's on I feel like just getting down and dirty and eating a whole pizza to myself, give me a thin crust pizza, please. But I don't know. I also I just tried. So we have this new, and I know anybody outside of Nashville, I don't know how popular Sean Brock is as a chef outside of Nashville. I don't know who knows what about, but I'm such a food nerd.
Look him up.
I know, seriously, look him up. I'm such a food nerd. I'm such a culinary nerd. And Sean Brock is the quintessential culinary nerd of a chef. I mean, he goes down the research rabbit hole on everything he does, right? And he's had these incredible restaurants here in Nashville, Audrey and June, and all of these great places. He also has Joyland, for burgers. But he just opened this pizza restaurant, Show Pizza, and it's awesome. And I'm, very fortunate because I write so much about food that I get invited to a lot of media dines before the restaurants open so I can try them in advance. That was the case here. And I went to the opening. And one of the things that he told us was that he actually, so it's a full-on pizza restaurant, obviously, Show Pizza. It's in the name. It's
Maybe like showbiz pizza.
no, it's
Not at all.
no, not at all. Not even close.
No animatronics there.
But he was saying how he actually found this type of pizza he makes is a Japanese crust. He makes a Japanese style pizza, which sounds so bizarre because we're so used to the Americanized version of an Italian pizza, which, that kind of Italian pizza that we know and love here for the most part, like modern pizza as we know it essentially like came from Naples, Italy in the 18th century or whatever. But this Japanese pizza, it's got both a chewy and a crispy crust. So it's like he crimps it in this really cool way. But he was telling me how he learned about this style of pizza from Anthony Bourdain, may he rest in peace, years ago, who was like, hey, the best pizza in the world is coming out of Japan right now. And so he went and he did a deep dive of Japanese pizza and how they make the crust. And he learned all about it out there and brought it here to us in Nashville, which I think is super cool. So, like, I do love a good, interesting, elevated pizza that you're clearly not going to get on a Friday night ordering from Domino's. Although today, admittedly, I ordered from Little Caesars.
Ooh.
I'm an everything gal when it comes to something like this. It's like a hand-tossed everything.
It's really beautiful. Go Little Caesars.
I've kind of been impressed with Little Caesars lately from like a fast food pizza Friday night sort of deal.
Do they still have that $5 deal that they do? Is that, or has inflation hit it too much?
Inflation is killing us all. It really
Go tariffs.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Tariffs are affecting the pizza too. But it's not much more than that. It's like $6.99 or whatever. I don't know. So, this one, because I got the everything, because God forbid I don't have like everything and its mother on this pizza, is like $11.99 or something. I don't know. Yeah. I feel like we're in a conversation about gas prices or something.
Why not? Are we really grown-ups if we're not talking about the gas prices?
No. But yeah, so I am very much I want the crust to fit the kind of pizza that I'm having.
Yeah, same. But I do really appreciate like the thicker crust where you can dip it in like a marinara or something. Like that's one of my favorite things to do. I'm a sauce girl. Give me the sauce.
Yeah, I'm a sauce girl too. Saucy, sassy, all the things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love like a really good homemade ranch. I know some people are so adamant about not putting ranch on their pizza. I don't want it on the pizza. I don't want to eat all of the goodness and cheesy goodness of the pizza. But then, like, if we're talking just a $10 pizza here, like, I'm gonna probably dip the crust in some homemade ranch. I'll make the ranch. I'll make a good buttermilk ranch at home and put it in a big old mason jar, shove it in the fridge, and get the pizza in it.
We're not judging. If you want to use Hidden Valley,
absolutely.
Fine.
Marlo is a Hidden Valley girl. Marlo does not like a homemade ranch, but me and Gray, we're all about the homemade ranch.
Well, okay. Do you have any like qualms about pizza that's not pizza that people call pizza? Like I'm
like, where are you eating that somebody's calling something that's not pizza?
Greek pizza? Like
no. That's no longer a pizza. That's a dessert.
Really? Even if it's like made like a pizza, it's like layered with a sauce and a few pieces of fruit and things.
I mean, if someone who can't sing sings karaoke, do you still consider them a singer, or do you consider them someone who's singing karaoke?
I think if they can sing, period. Are they a music artist? That's different.
But what I'm saying is, like, if somebody cannot sing and they go to sing karaoke, are they a singer just because they got up on the stage and put a microphone in front of them?
No, they're a performer at that point.
Right. So is your fruit pizza, like, is it a dessert masquerading as a pizza, or is it actually a pizza? I say it's a dessert or something healthy or whatever masquerading as a pizza. Just because it's in costume doesn't make it any more of a pizza.
Well, I have a salad masquerading as a pizza today.
No, you do not. What is on that? Talk to me.
Okay. This is a family recipe. Do you say, okay, first of all, do you say aunt or aunt? Because,
Oh, depends on who it is.
yeah.
Auntie Joni, Aunt Carol.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. It's like whatever has a nice ring to it, I guess. Yeah.
So this is my Aunt Becky's veggie pizza.
Okay.
And it's literally the most delicious thing ever. But it's not a traditional pizza. But I wanted to like throw a wrench in everything today and get a reaction from you. So I made this, and it's literally like dough and then cream cheese and then a sprinkle of whatever veggies you want and some cheese on top of that because you need more cheese, clearly.
Cream cheese.
It's cream cheese.
Dude, that's not a pizza. You know.
It's a veggie pizza.
No.
It's a veggie pizza.
No, it's a vegetable appetizer cleverly disguised as a pizza slice.
Well, I'm going to call it a pizza and you can call it not pizza.
Tomato sauce, tomato sauce.
That's right. But I am honoring my Aunt Becky with this pizza today. It's the first time making it.
Okay.
So thanks, Aunt Becky.
I have to have a sip of wine after that conversation. I don't know where I stand on that. Okay. Again, I'm going back to like the nerdy geeking out over the food stuff. So I read something super interesting. Aside from the fact that we're talking about, oh my God, my dog just farted behind us, by the way. He just farted back there.
Delicious.
I'm going to have to wait a few minutes before I actually take a bite of this pizza.
Wait, did he eat Little Caesars too? Is that what?
No, he's like, the Lord, it'd be a lot worse. But he's like legit laid out back there, and he's just living his best life, smelling pizza wafting through the air and farting to his little heart's content. It's great. So, okay, I was reading that, and I am really legit gonna wait for a minute before I take a bite of this pizza because I don't want any kind of cross contamination of the.
In solidarity, I'm waiting with you.
Thank you. When I was like researching everything, I thought it was so crazy. Like here we've just talked about some of the best pizzas coming out of Japan, which is sort of not what I think most people would think. And maybe the Italians would have my head for that. I imagine they probably would, but nevertheless. I was looking up what country ate the most pizza because naturally it had to be America, right? Like we take everything and we make it our own way. And then we just love the hell out of pizza. Come on. It's not America. It's Norway. Which is so bizarre to me and highly unexpected. Maybe Norwegians everywhere are like, well, of course we eat the most pizza. I don't know. But apparently, according to what I saw, Norway eats the most pizza per capita in the world. They consume an average of 11 pizzas per person each year. And that actually, I'm sorry, but that doesn't sound like that much to me. Is that crazy? So I'm thinking, is this wrong? But then it said, while other countries may sell more pizzas overall, that Norway leads in consumption on a person, like a per person basis. 11, but like, does 11 pizzas a year sound that insane to you? Like, how big are these pizzas we're talking?
A whole pizza or like a slice of pizza? Because if it's 11 whole pizzas per person, that's a lot of fucking pizza.
Is it? I'm like, maybe I eat more pizza than the
I don't know. I think if you were to count out slice wise how many full pizzas you had, it wouldn't be close to 11.
Now, if we were talking tacos, or margaritas, that's a totally different story. But okay, all right, I guess that's fair. But I'm not, also when you think about it, like, you know, if you go to some high-end pizza place, you're going to get like a personal pizza that's maybe 12 inches, right? But if you're talking, like, you know, a Little Caesars pizza, like what I got today, it's like an 18-inch pizza. So then, excuse me, if we're talking like 11 pizzas of 18-inch pizzas, okay, then that seems to make more sense. But like, I could easily go to Sean Brock's place 11 times over the course of the next, once a month and have a little personal pizza to myself.
Okay, that's fair. Maybe, I don't know. What's the diameter on these pizzas?
I know, right? That's the thing. I'm like, I need more information. Don't give me math without mathing. Like, you got to give me all of it. a lot of variables there. Like, are we talking 11 pizzas that are just cheese or 11 pizzas that have all kinds of stuff on them? Because obviously the ones that have all kinds of stuff on them are going to be more filling. I don't know. I just, but I go back to, I think pizza is a great metaphor for life. And I think that the kind of crust you eat is, you know, is very indicative of your personality. Like the thin crust might be like you're more of a no fuss minimalist and you don't have time to worry about all the other stuff. Like you don't have time to do all the chewing, right? And like the deep dish is very, you're more complex and you don't need to be rushed. Like hand tossed leads us into maybe our perfectionism stuff here. Like it's somewhere between relaxed and very painstakingly managed. And then the stuffed crust is like, oh, it's like secretly hiding all kinds of shit in there. You know what I mean? Like you don't show it on the surface, but dear God, don't tap into that. So anyway, it's like we have our own little crust horoscope or something.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. We should maybe put that out for this episode.
Maybe so. I'm a Taurus. Am, very so stubborn that I need to be wood fired to perfection. And like, just when I start to bubble up, you better take me out before everything catches on fire. But you want that like just perfect crisp on there. I don't know. I'm going like way down the rabbit hole here.
I mean, I'm also a fellow Taurus. I think we enjoy the comfort of the pizza, right? It's like the comforting, like cozy. I need to have like nice things and feel warm and good.
Yes, warm and fuzzy.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so should we cheers now to pizza?
Yes, let's do it. Wait, I have a little toast. Okay, ready? Of course,
With my non-pizza?
yeah. Yes, let's toast with your anti-pizza to crispy crusts, color coordinated closets, and the beautiful chaos lurking underneath it all. Or I guess within the crust if you have cheesy stuffed crust. I have to take a bite. I'm starving.
Same.
Oh, look, I'm folding it. I'm doing the fold. Mm-hmm.
Woo! Been a long time since I've had Becky's pizza.
That somehow seems less enthusiastic than I anticipated.
I think I did it right.
What dough did you use?
Just something from the store. The crescent dough that you like, the sheet that you bake.
Okay. I don't think I've ever tried that.
Well, come over.
Good. Mine has vegetables on it. I've got onions and peppers and mushrooms. And then, I had to I got the everything. So it's got like, does it have olives? It doesn't have olives, but it's got like sausage and pepperoni and all that kind of goodness too. Yeah, it's good stuff. All right. Well,
I have big fucking feelings about perfectionism, clearly.
we're just going to take a bite of pizza and launch into the perfectionism. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I do too. I also have big fucking feelings about it. So, but I need you to go first. I'm taking another bite of pizza while you talk.
Go ahead. I mean, I don't have I didn't, in honor of my recovering perfectionist, I told myself not to make a list today so that I could just have an organic feelings conversation. And what I have noticed about myself is this makes me very uncomfortable and I don't like it because it's a control thing at the end of the day. It's really like I need to feel like I am in control of this because I can't control anything. And if I can control one thing, then you better believe I'm going to try and I'm going to be great at it. And nobody's going to have any bad things to say because I did it and I executed it perfectly. But that's never the case also.
Do you make handwritten lists, post-it notes, or you're on like a digital list on your phone?
I am old school and prefer to handwrite a list and cross it off. And like, I not just cross it this way, but like I make a box next to it that I also put an X. So if it's like a halfway X, then I know it's halfway done. And then I do the full X for when it's fully done. And if it's approved, it gets the cross. Yes.
This sits on my desk. I use it constantly. I also
Dollar spot at Target.
I don't remember. Yeah, probably.
I think I have that note, but does it have a magnet on the back of it?
No, actually, it is not.
Never mind. I'm totally incorrect, and my perfectionist is dying right now.
But I have I have so many of these list pads. I also have this massive stack of Post-it notes that I keep on my desk, and I'll just, I also do digital. I'm like all of it. I do all of it. I have a magnetized thing on my fridge that I write what we have in the house for breakfast so that the kids can go like find something for breakfast so that don't get me wrong, it doesn't stop them from every 5 minutes going, Mommy, do we have such and such? And I'm like, check the consult the list, consult the list. But yeah, I'm the same way. I'm not a recovering perfectionist. Like I'm definitely in it. I'm in the throes of it. And there are certain things that I've let go because obviously having kids and 5 dogs means that certain things are just never ever going to happen. Like, the thing, for example, like my personal confession here, nothing makes, aside from being late, nothing makes me have a full internal meltdown like pockets of mess in every single room. I have got to have some rooms in the house that are clean. And I'm not saying that doesn't mean that there isn't like some dog hair. Like with 5 dogs, I can't keep up. I run a Roomba and a vacuum daily, mop a couple times a week. Like it's just hard to keep up, especially when the dogs are molting. Totally different story. But like, I don't want to live laugh. I want every fucking throw pillow perfectly angled on the bed. Please do not mistake which pillow goes where. They should be centered. They need to, these are the kinds of things that I'm trying to take a deep breath about, be a little bit better about. And there are things like, Gray's room, like we're nearing 13 here. So the amount of skincare and shit all over is just mind-boggling. She has more skincare than I do, which is fun, but simultaneously frustrating. But her room, she just cleaned it recently, and she's now like loving it clean. So I'm kind of keeping my fingers crossed it lasts a little bit longer. But she'll go for like a couple months of just shit everywhere, everywhere. And then she'll get in this little like cleaning mode, and clean it all up, and it looks like perfection. And that's when I will open her door and walk in. Because if I walk in any other time during those 3 months where it doesn't look like that, I die a little bit inside. Same with Michelle's closet. God bless, I cannot do a pile of clothes. It makes me out of my mind, but I'm okay because the door gets closed and I don't have to look at it. So
yeah, and I feel like you have a story about this because I remember it, but I've always told my kids this, don't leave your clothes in piles on the floor unless you want spiders. Okay. But if you want spiders, you're going to have a pile of clothes because they like to hide in that stuff. Or if you live in Arizona, I've heard of scorpions hiding up.
The only thing that's like when I lived in LA, I found a lizard in one of my shoes once and it scared the shit out of me. But it wasn't like I left something out that shouldn't have been. It was like, it found a dark place to hide in a closet. Now, how it got into, a 4th-story apartment, I don't know, but it did.
They can climb. They can climb.
They can, apparently, very well. No, the only thing is one day I had gone downstairs. Michelle was in the bedroom and she was working and I went in and I was like asking her a question and suddenly I heard the door open behind me and it freaked me out because I knew the kids were upstairs. And it was Izzy, one of our dogs, who had gone into the Michelle's side of the closet and just like nestled in this giant pile of clothing. It was warm and cozy. I mean, I don't blame her, you know? Yeah, so she scared the hell out of me. She suddenly like emerged from the dark closet. But I'm like, as long as they shut the door, if you've got a door to your room and your room is a shit show, close the door and then, just only let me see it when you've cleaned it and which they all do this. Like everybody in my household does this. They're very like certain areas will be chaos and then they'll get into the mode like and it's then suddenly they're just like hyper focused on cleaning it for however long until it's done. I will say the other thing that I feel super perfectionist, there are quite a few things that I feel very perfectionist about, and then certain things I don't at all, which we'll get to that in a second. But one of the things for me is my writing. I'm such a perfectionist with my writing. Like, I proofread everything multiple times. That's not to say I don't still miss some things here and there, but like, I use Grammarly aggressively. I preach Grammarly to everyone. I am a copy editor at heart. This is, I can't imagine writing something and just like handing it over to somebody and being like, oh, they'll edit it, they'll figure it out. When this is like my flex, I guess. I'm using the Gen X term.
You.
I know, right? Is it a Gen X term or a Gen Alpha term? I get very confused about what's what. I had this huge conversation with Gloria the other day because we were talking about, I was joking and I said something about skibbity toilet and she goes, I swear to God, if that ever comes out of your mouth again. So she's got like very strong opinions on this. One is very Gen Alpha. She like just made the cut of not being in that generation. Whatever that generation, whatever the skibbity toilet generation is.
Yeah, skibbity toilet is Gen Alpha because that's all he like. Yeah.
Okay. So Marlo is in Gen Alpha and Gray is not.
The contrast is real. Like, I have the same scenario here, and it is so like Charlotte is probably on Team Gray with that. Like,
I'm sure.
She doesn't play.
No. No. And I don't blame them. Like, it's horrific. I don't want to hear about that. That's terrible. Anyway, this is like a totally different episode. All the generational words and shit that we use that are like, I'm sure we have our own stuff that seems normal to us that isn't normal. Either way.
Yes.
Point being that like, I'm not a fly by the seat of your pants writer. I'm running Grammarly on that sucker, maybe more than once, depending on my mood. But like, my fun little flex, which is how we got up in the generational word zone, is when I wrote my books. And this was like years ago, right? This was before I had kids and knew what the word flex meant, other than like, doing this, is that my editor said it was one of the cleanest manuscripts she had ever received. And I was so proud of that. I'm like, I'm still so proud of that because I know it's just, I get so overwhelmed by imperfections and typos and redundancy. And I'm sure that there's redundancy probably all up and through my book, but nevertheless, I just am very much a perfectionist writer. Like, I am going to read that over and over and over again until I'm happy with it in that moment and phase of my life. So what I wrote then, I was very happy with it in that moment and phase of my life. Granted, I still had like mommy monkey brain, I had just given birth and was, so I was in that fog. So who knows what that looked like at that time. Yeah. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I feel like you're a relatively perfectionist writer too, though.
I edit, re-edit, and I feel like Corey, yes, but I know this about myself and I'm okay with it. I made peace with it. I am a very colorful writer, which means that I use way too many punctuation marks. Commas, I use way too many. M dashes, I use way too many. And like, that's the thing that I have to work on. But when I turn it in, like, there's no spelling errors.
Right. Yeah, I'm like the editor who, if I see more than 10 exclamation points, I'm going to go ahead and pull them out. Like, the overuse, but yet my texts are stupid. Like, I will absolutely, this, it's absurd. I will absolutely put 10 exclamation points at the end of something just to make sure you know how much I'm emphasizing how much I love that.
And I love it when you do. Because there are different rules for text. Like, you don't have to be perfect there. That's on the fly. It's funnier sometimes if there is a typo. So like, I appreciate that.
What did I say to you earlier? What was in my text earlier?
We were talking about titles of episodes for this.
And you thought
you said title options and I read it as like titty options or something. And you spelled it correctly. My brain just went somewhere else.
That's amazing. But I was no, you know what? I was texting my friend Kate and I said something about I'm looking it up while we're in the middle of our podcast. I'm looking this up because it is just I have to do it. Uh, I was telling her that I couldn't go to an event on Monday, right? Because I just need to be home with like my family and have dinner. There was so much going on this week that I was like, I just need a night at home. I meant to put, I don't want to burn the candle at both ends, but what I was dictating into my phone and it put, I don't want to burn the canal at both ends. I was like, well, that's a totally different story. And I didn't get, I'm like, dictation kills me sometimes. Like, it just eats me alive. I mean, sometimes, like, my phone just fucking hates me. It hates me. It has it out for me. My phone is going to get me broken up with. It's going to get my kids mad at me.
You're going to sell one of your dogs by accident.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, so I don't think twice about text, but anything professionally related and any of my writing, I will proofread over and over and over and over and over. Like ad nauseum, I will proof.
Yeah. Okay, if you make a mistake as a perfectionist, what's the period that you make yourself pay for that? Like I had and still work on this very much, but like if I make a mistake, I have to almost pay a penance to myself. And like
Are you sure you didn't grow up Catholic?
no, I didn't, but maybe it's in my heart somewhere. Like I had to pay the price and suffer by beating myself up with like hatred and
Girl.
negative self-talk until I felt like I had suffered enough to then let it go.
Oh my God. I guess it depends on what it is. Listen, and I say this, by the way, as someone who grew up Catholic, that is such like a Catholicism, the idea of penance and that sort of thing. There is a certain amount of that ingrained in me I think based on just growing up in the church and all of that. No, I guess it just depends on, I'm trying to think of a scenario right now where that would be the case. For me, most of my perfectionism is like, I'm very hard on myself without a doubt. I'm harder on myself than anyone else could ever be. And I know this for a fact. But I think my biggest gripe with myself as it pertains to perfectionism likely has more to do with parenting than anything else. You know, no one on this planet is going to be a perfect parent. Mother Teresa, God rest her soul, had she had children, would not have been a perfect parent. Just bringing full circle with the Catholicism here. I know that I'm going to make mistakes. I know that I'm going to say things sometimes where I'm like, that just wasn't the right way. Like that I could have done better. In that moment, I could have done better. I got hung up in that moment and I feel like I could have had better things to say. And I've really taken to trying to say to my kids, and this doesn't really happen as much with Gray as it does with Marlo, I think. 'Cause Marlo hits me from the left, like very often, where I'm just like, oh, shit, what do I do now? But I've taken to saying, I'm going to need some time to think about this before I answer you because I want to collect my thoughts and make sure that I'm answering you in a way that's super thoughtful and that helps you through this in the best way that I can. Like basically, AKA, I don't fucking know what my answer is right now. You just totally threw a left punch. It might be a TKO. We need a few. Well, mommy goes and like collects herself and tries to figure out what the fuck to say to you. But I don't know. I think that's mostly where my perfectionism rears an ugly head versus just tries to like keep shit together. For me, it's more like, oh, color coding my closet and the gray ended up with the black. Oh, well, let's move the hanger. It's not a huge deal. I'm very much an everything has its place kind of person. But again, I go back to the 2 kids, 5 dogs, that place that thing ended up and needs to be might have dog hair swirling around it at any given moment. They run outside, they muck up the yard, they dig holes, they drag the dirt in, like do everything I can to keep everything clean, but it just doesn't always stay that way. So like I've had to a certain extent let the perfectionism go. When I was in my teens, and I think this sounds horribly elitist at this point, but that was my life then, which is very different from my life now. But like at that point, I lived in this beautiful big house in California. I had no children. I wasn't married. I had one dog who's a pug. Pugs don't dig up the yard. They basically lie on the couch until you call them for food. That's essentially what they do. They're hilarious, but they're not like the most, hey, let me go bury a bone in the yard kind of dog. And so I lived like a very easily clean lifestyle. And I was on a television show. So I had money at that time to spend on somebody doing my landscaping. And that was very common in California. In general, I had money to spend on somebody cleaning my pool. That was very common. I had money to have, someone come in and clean for me because I was on set for 16 hours a day and I didn't have time to do it. And I had the money to pay for that kind of stuff. I don't now. It's on us. And to a certain extent, I love that. It also makes it harder to be a perfectionist in the middle of that because it's real easy to be a perfectionist when you're relying on other people to do things for you. And that's like such in my head, I'm like, that's such an elitist mentality. At the same time, I'm like, it's really cool if somebody is in a position in their lives where they have the money to do that and they can afford, they understand that like time with their family is more important to them. Therefore, they pay somebody else to do one of those things or all of those things so that they have more time with their family. I get it. Or like their work schedule is super crazy. No judgment at all. I'm just not there, which is fine. So it's on us. And so like the perfectionism has taken a different level of meaning, I think, in the middle of all that. You know what I mean?
Yes. I think it's also just like having the mentality of like, especially with houses being perfect, spotless, clean all the time, like people live here. People live here.
Right.
And that is different. Having a house that's lived in versus a house that's ready to show on like your next real estate agent's calendar. Like that's not.
Yeah. It's not like it's like the difference between when they do the extreme makeover reveal versus 6 months after that family has been in that house and used all of those things and things are time worn and they're loved and and that's the thing is like your house it should be loved. Our house is loved. It's loved by dog paws. It's loved by children. It is loved by my culinary efforts. So yeah, I'm totally a perfectionist, but the perfectionism has taken it's like a different character in the story at this point, I think.
Things you can control, things you cannot control.
Now my car is a totally different now. And my car is a good show. Let me just say, I can deal with because I don't actually do a whole lot of driving, like, kid pickup and delivery and volleyball practice and all the things. And I don't do a ton of driving because I get to work from home, which is amazing. It's a blessing. So, but I also am like, okay, as long as the front of the car looks good, I can essentially deal with whatever shit show is going down in the back. It's like the whole mullet thing, like the party, it's like the clean classic up front, party in the back. That's like my car. My car is a mullet, literally.
Yeah, I love that so much.
It's a vehicular mullet.
Yeah.
Yesterday or 2 days ago, was it? Gray had our first dance. What a beautiful rite of passage that I got to be a part of. Very cool. I mean, I wasn't at the dance itself, but like, one of her best friend's moms. And we like got all the kids together and we did pizza and sodas and got them, helped them get ready or whatever, and then drove them. We were the chaperone, like we drove them, the two of us took like 4 kids each and drove them to the dance, like their whole friend group, which was super cool. And I was laughing because I went to go get these kids in my car and I'm about to pile 4 kids in my car. And I'm like, oh shit, there's like this Kleenex explosion in the back of my car to such an extent that it looked like it snowed. And I can tell you that I don't know how many months it's been that my children have been walking on top of this Kleenex box that they asked me to put in the car for them when they had a cold. And now it's just clean Kleenex, not used Kleenex, I hope. But they've literally like stepped on the box so many times getting in and out of the car with their backpacks or like set their backpack down. It was just an absolute explosion of rogue Kleenex everywhere. I was appalled.
just like scraping it off of the seeds in the ground. Like, sorry guys.
Yeah, well, thankfully I saw it before the kids came out and got in there. But like that, I might need some therapy after that.
Just, don't cry over spilled Kleenex.
Right. Or like rogue goldfish crackers. Like when you can count that there are exactly 42 rogue goldfish crackers in the back of your car and you don't know how many months they've been there. Like they might have been there as many months as there are crackers. Problems. Just,
Yeah.
But life with kids also.
You can't control everything.
Except,
and having kids teaches, it really taught me to let go of some of that perfectionism for sure, because you just cannot make them do what you want them to do. They're not gonna.
not only can you not make them do what you want them to do, but half the time you ask them to do something so simple. Like, hey, would you mind picking your clothes up off the bathroom floor? And it's like another 3 days. Another 3 days. Now, listen, the hand of God will come down in fury if it's been 3 days that these clothes are on the bathroom floor. I'm not saying, like, I am not going to sit here and say that I don't at some point look at my children and go, okay, well, you have about 5 seconds to clean this up before it goes in a bag and you don't get it back until I decide you get it back. But I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I fully support that. We don't leave stuff on the ground, mostly because of the spiders.
What am I hearing in the background? What is it? There's like wild turkeys going by your house or something. I don't know.
Yes, there are many wild turkeys. This is life when I'm trying to do all of the things and also be a mom at the same time. And so there are 3 girls out front playing volleyball.
Okay, that's what I'm hearing.
There are girls out front playing volleyball. There are dogs in the back crying because they want to be like girls playing volleyball. And then there's one little boy who keeps coming in for more potato chips and crunching. So perfectionism doesn't exist at all.
Oh, the window.
What a wonderful opportunity for me to let the girls have fun and play and be loud right by the window that I am recording at.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
It's fine.
Okay. Cheers to all that. I feel like instead of like a life as a box of chocolates, it's just like life is a bunch of pizza toppings.
Life is a bunch of pizza toppings. Which is your favorite pizza topping? We didn't even talk about like pineapple on pizza or.
Yeah, I love it all. Just depends on the circumstance. Like it's a very circumstantially appropriate topping.
So you will eat a pineapple pizza?
Yes, if it's combined with ham, because it's a thing, but not spam.
That's the Hawaiian.
Ham
but not spam, as we've learned already. Go to episode whatever spam is.
On that note, dear God, let's just stop this episode. Like, these ribbons done 20 minutes ago.